What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and today we're going to be talking some New York Giants news, but it's not the best news in the world, unfortunately. It's a bit of some somber news, some kind of scary, and some kind of questionable news about Nick Gates and his injury, and really the question marks surrounding his future playing football. Nick Gates recently opened up to Dan Duggan of The Athletic in an interview, gave him a lot of insight on the battle that he's gone through with this injury recovery. Of course, Nick Gates in week 2 versus Washington of last season suffered just a gruesome, horrible injury to his lower left leg, broken bone, and it was bad. And it's going to continue to be bad. And Nick Gates is now at the point where in this interview, he's saying he's not sure if he'll ever play football again. That's his goal, but he's not 100% sure if he's going to be able to do it. And that's super sad. I know Nick Gates is a huge fan favorite of mine. I love Nick Gates. He was an absolute leader for the New York Giants when he was playing, a versatile player that had the ability to play along multiple positions on the offensive line. Started at right tackle, started at right guard, started at center, and started at left guard before his untimely finish to the 2021 season. And of course, now going forward, the Giants have made a lot of improvements to their offensive line. They got a new center in John Feliciano, new right tackle in Evan Neal, who should lock that position down for years. Right guard Mark Lewinsky, a starter there for a couple of years. Left guard, a little bit of a battle, but they've got some guys who are likely to start. And of course, left tackle is Andrew Thomas. But you take a look at Nick Gates, and at this point in his career, whether or not he has a career, it's a very, very tough avenue to becoming an impact player on the Giants offensive line once again, now that they've added all this talent. It's really unfortunate to say, but it seems like Nick Gates might be getting left in the dust here in a backup role as he continues to struggle through this injury and try to rehabilitate and get back to full health. When you take a look at some of these quotes, they're very sad. They're very concerning. And if you see the pictures of his leg and the scarring that he has along the outside of his left leg from that injury, it's gruesome. You can just tell that this man has fought through hell and back over the course of the last 8 months. And man, I'm still just hoping and praying that he's able to make a full recovery, get back to 100% one day, and get back on the football field. I'm not rooting for anybody harder than I'm rooting for Nick Gates. I love Nick Gates. Again, he's just a great person. He's got that energy. He brings the right mentality to the New York Giants day in and day out. He's a true leader in the locker room, and I hope to see him succeed and maybe even one day find a starting position somewhere in the NFL if that's possible. But nevertheless, let's dive into some of these quotes, take a look at what Nick Gates has said about his injury, about the struggle that he's dealt with over the last 8 months, and kind of just talk about, Nick Gates' future with the Giants and in the NFL, because according to him, it's a pretty murky future ahead. So we'll dive into some of these quotes right here. I'll pull some up again. These are from Dan Duggan of The Athletic. Nick Gates, when he was asked if he's going to play during the 2022 season or even beyond, here is what he had to say. If you take a look, 8 months later, Gates is still battling through a rehab process that has no defined timeline for when or if he'll be able to play again. Nick Gates said, "I don't even know. It's so hard to tell. It's slow. I don't know if I'll definitely be able to play again, but that's my goal. I want to." His goal is to play again once again in the NFL, hopefully with the New York Giants, but Nick Gates isn't even sure if he's ever going to be back on a professional football field. He doesn't even know if he's going to have that opportunity. And again, that really sucks to say. He was young, he was talented, he had the heart, he had the right mindset, a true leader for the Giants. And it seems like there's a real possibility here that his career has been cut short from this injury. And again, really sucks to say. Another quote here. Quote, "Now it's starting to get tougher," Gates said. "I have to get back to where my baseline was and try to get strong again and then get back to being able to play football too. It's just going to be hard. It's a long process." And absolutely it is. Once again, like I said, he's been battling for 8 months to get back to full health. I know there was a report months ago that he apparently suffered a setback in his rehabilitation process from this injury, suffered some sort of setback in the injury rehab. And now he's just still fighting hard and hard to try and get back to full strength. And then once he gets back to full strength, as he just mentioned in that last quote, he's going to get back to full strength. And then he's got to learn to be a football player once again. So it's almost like learning to have strength in your leg and then learning to play the sport all over again. It's a long road ahead for Nick Gates. And if you take a look at some of these quotes, I guess trigger warning, if you're squeamish and don't want to hear these descriptions, you might kind of not want to listen to this part, maybe skip ahead or something. But I'll say, here's a quote from Nick Gates about the injury and the night that he was injured. "The next thing I knew, I was on my back with my leg in my hand, and it kept on flopping back and forth," Gates said. "It hurt at first, and then after that, I was just thinking, damn, I'm not going to be able to play the rest of the season." It's really difficult to hear him have that kind of realization on the football field, where he's laying there with that injury, having been just suffered, and just having that realization that my season's over. And then as we know, it progresses, and his career could be over too at this point. Another quote: Allen put a hump move on me, and I was just trying to fight him off as hard as I could. That's a hard move. Once they get sunk in, it's hard to fight it. I was just hoping Daniel Jones would get rid of the ball. He stepped up, and I guess Payne jumped, and the next thing I knew, I snapped my leg. I just had all my weight on one leg, and it just happened. Price, who is currently a free agent, Billy Price, also recalled the play vividly. Of course, he was playing right alongside at center next to Nick Gates. Price said, quote, "It was a pop almost like an airsoft gun. To hear that pop of his leg, you talk about PTSD, something that's always in your brain is that memory of that sound. It was definitely scary. When you see it before he rolled over and his leg was dangling there, it was traumatic." And I know a lot of Giants fans felt the same way when they were watching that on TV, national TV. It was a primetime game. They saw that, and it was a bit traumatizing just to see a leader, a fan favorite player, Nick Gates, laying there, having suffered that kind of an injury. You think back to a lot of great Giants players that have suffered injuries like that. Odell Beckham Jr. suffered a broken leg versus the Chargers in 2017. Very similar. Of course, Victor Cruz, when he tore his patellar tendon, and national TV, everybody's just watching. It's painful to see the players that you really love go through something like this. All we can really do is hope and pray that they get the best recovery time possible, that they make full strength recoveries back. But this is definitely a tough injury for Nick Gates, and it's looking really murky. Brian Dable also said some things about it. Quote: "He had a tough injury, but he's done a good job with his rehab. Probably still a little bit a ways away. I'd say him and Matt Parrott, they're rehabbing every single day, getting better each day. So we'll see where they're at." So Brian Dable's bringing in a bit more of a hopeful tone, a bit more optimistic tone, which is definitely needed, and it's refreshing to hear. He's done a good job with his rehab, and he's still a bit away, but he's rehabbing every day and he's getting better every day. And that's really all we can hope for Nick Gates, is that he just continues to get better every single day. And Nick Gates' mother even had a quote in this article too. Nick will definitely play again. He's that determined that he will. When he puts his mind to something, there's no stopping him. And I'll say, I agree with her. I do think that this is a very scary injury. Nick Gates is trying really hard to recover. He says he doesn't even know if he'll be able to play again. Honestly, guys, I feel this way, and I'm sure many of you feel this way as well. I think Nick Gates is going to play football once again. We know Nick Gates. We've seen him over the past few years, and we've seen the heart that he plays with, the mindset that he brings to the team every single day. He is determined. He is motivated. He's fought through a whole lot already. He's fought to get starting positions at multiple positions on the offensive line. He's fought just to even have a standing in this league. If I remember correctly, he was an undrafted or maybe a seventh round pick in the draft. I think he was an undrafted free agent that got signed by the Giants, and he was really overlooked and undervalued by every team in the NFL. He steps onto the Giants, instantly makes an impact in 2019 at right tackle and right guard, and he just continues to earn reps and continues to start over 1,000 snaps at center in 2020. Nick Gates, man, he fought through a lot before. I have no doubt that he's going to fight through this and get his way back onto an NFL team and play some football once again. I agree with Sonia, his mother. I'm all in on Nick Gates, man. I mean, it's hard to say whether or not he'll be a starter one day. It's hard to envision what his career might look like going forward. But again, I'm just hoping for the best for Nick Gates. I believe in him. He was one of our captains. He is a true leader. I believe in him. I think he's going to make that recovery, and I think that he will play football once again. I don't know what capacity he'll be playing football in, but I'm going to keep my eyes on Nick Gates. I'm hoping for the best, praying for him and hoping that his recovery goes quickly and smoothly, no more setbacks, and that he's just able to get back on the football field as soon as possible at 100% strength. And I know that's how all of you Giants fans listening to this feel as well. But I guess that's kind of the injury update on Nick Gates as he's kind of progressing through here. Do not expect to see him during the 2022 season as a starter, especially, but definitely not even in a backup role. I don't even think we're going to see him in that capacity. I think he might spend the entire 2022 season on injured reserve and hopefully start to gear back up for a return in 2023. I think that's a very realistic scenario. And you know what? It's one that we should hope for. Hopefully he is returning to football next year and that he's not really just kind of trying to get back and going to fail. I don't believe he's going to fail. I think Nick Gates will be successful and will return to a football field one day. And I guess that's kind of it, man. That's really all we can hope for, is that he just recovers. So again, don't expect him during the 2022 season. I think that's kind of like unrealistic if he's saying that he's not even sure if he's going to play again in the future. I definitely don't think that he's anywhere close to playing right now. Even Brian Dable said he's a little bit far away from returning to the field. So don't expect to see him in 2022, but let's hope and pray that we see Nick Gates back on the football field in 2023. No more setbacks for that injury. Nick Gates being the beast that he is, being the big-hearted captain who's completely motivated. Hopefully he's able to fight through this injury and get back on the football field. I can't wait to see what his career, ends up being, and I can't wait to see him back on the football field, guys. But anyway, let me know what you think down below in the comment section of Nick Gates. When do you think he's returning to the football field? Maybe even type some words of encouragement. Who knows? Maybe he'll see this. Maybe he'll search his name and he'll see this podcast episode. You can type down in the comment section below. Give Nick Gates some words of encouragement. I know that we're all rooting for him really, really hard, just like we root for every Giants player. But Nick Gates, maybe just a little bit extra because of what he brings to the team and to the fan base. I don't know. He just really captivated all of us. So hopefully he gets that recovery soon. But let me know if you enjoyed this video down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss a video. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. And let's go Giants.